Hello, boys and girls. Najee here again from NajeeChaw.com. Today, I want to share with you one of the articles and posts that I thought about recently, and basically is to say don't settle and don't sell yourself short. So, all of us gone through the last since 2020, right? This big ass COVID pandemic, and it's a bad situation where lots of people died, lots of people got hurt really bad. But there's one silver lining of this pandemic is that it shook everything. It turned everything upside down. You know, um, Many of us were forced to change. Some of us had to stay home. Stay safe. And not surprisingly, many of us were had lockdowns. And one of the good things about this lockdowns is that there was a lot of silence, where you can usually hear yourself think. You can usually hear yourself speak, right? And what happens is that I think many of us went to this thing where we ask ourselves, is this it? As in, is this kind of life that we want? Okay, so I do not know where you live, but where I live in Singapore. I live in a peaceful, safe, and stable Singapore. Women and children can walk outside 3 o'clock in the morning. 99.9% of the time, they'll be safe. No problem. I mean, most of the time. And I run a business called Phoenix Rehab, where we specialize in orthopedic and sports physiotherapy, in hand therapy, TCM, acupuncture, massage. I sleep fairly well at night, other than my newborn waking me up, and I'm alive, right? And I thought it was okay. And I thought it's okay to live a quiet-ish life where I mind my own shit, I don't bother others, have food and water, enough money, and running my business would be enough. But I'm starting to ask myself, is like, am I shortchanging myself? And the same for you. Are you shortchanging yourself? Am I wasting my time? Are you wasting your time? Are you wasting your abilities? Are you settling? So this year, 2022, I am 40 years old. Mm, As a hand therapist with a physio wife, we did pretty okay. We started a business, it got acquired, sold out for 7 figures. Then I took a sabbatical of 18 months. My wife went to start another business. And we have a wonderful team and 3 beautiful children, right? I'm grateful, but there's something that's happening. Like right over here, I got some sort of like a tingling spider sense. Um, like I shared earlier, one of the key benefits of the pandemic, this COVID pandemic, is that everything was turned on its head. Many people had to stay home, the lockdowns, everybody was safe. In 2020, the Singapore government got most of us to stay home for a good 1, 2-ish months. And it was, even though it was uncertain for us in Singapore, and many of my competitors and people that I know were very vocal about how dissatisfied they were and yada yada yada. I felt at home because I was trained for my 18 month sabbatical, or maybe I'm ready for early retirement. But I like it because I could spend more time with my family and my kids. I really like it. It gave me a reminder that, is this the kind of life that I want to live? Okay. But am I the only one asking this question? Of course not. It's not just me. Hey, it's not just me. It's many. I ask, but it seems as though there's a movement taking place. Have you heard of the Great Resignation? Last time it was called the Great Depression, but for this COVID period, for this pandemic in 2020 to 2022, there's this thing called the Great Resignation. And a simple Google search right now show that there's a Great Resignation taking root around the world. The Great Resignation isn't slowing down. The Great Resignation, 4.4 million Americans quit their jobs last month. This is just, I literally Google searched this 5 minutes ago, right? So we're talking about millions of people quitting their job, on a monthly basis. Maybe they're not willing to settle anymore. Maybe they're tired of lockdowns. Maybe there's too many bullshit jobs out there. What's a bullshit job? Bullshit jobs are jobs that you don't care about. You just do them to pay the bills. The kind of job that you have this existential dread on Sundays where you think about, oh my God, I'm going to go back to work on Mondays. And then you will look forward to Fridays, and then you actually live your life, truly live your life on Saturday and Sundays. And many people do that. The number one problem with bullshit jobs is that it has bad negative effects. Obviously, bad is bad, negative is negative. The highest level of the problem is that it makes people really sad because there's no meaning to it, right? Ironically, many people, when they get bullshit jobs, they do their best to not lose their bullshit jobs. Because why? It pays the bills, right? It's pretty easy to coast as well, especially in big companies where there are many layers of people. So when there's layers and layers of people, it's easy to be hidden and be invisible. Ew, that was a nasty reminder of why I became an entrepreneur. And if you love your job, you actually are one of the top 15% of the lucky ones. According to Gallup's State of the Workplace report, 85% of Americans are extremely disengaged. It means that they don't give two shit. They are disengaged. 81% are looking for new jobs. That means out of five, four people are disengaged. Yeah, and four people out of five people are looking for jobs all the time. In my book, that's majority of people that don't like it at all, don't like their jobs at all, or their jobs are just bullshit, right? So people are quitting their bullshit jobs to find jobs that either make more money for them, provide them more flexibility, or are more meaningful. And in fact, there are more people doing business as well. Guess what? So last year, 2021, you look at over here, this point here, 5.4 million applications were filed 2021. That means a whopping 5.4 new businesses were registered, right? So it's so much easier to start a business today, on the side even, or full time, than our grandfather's time or our grandmother's time, because the internet has just revolutionized so much shit for us. Okay, so here's the problem, right? It takes a lot of passion, gusto, and work for businesses to work. Another problem is that it's very easy to hide. You see, if there's layers and layers of people in bullshit jobs, it's easy to just hide in the layers, just do the bare minimum and just be invisible, right? You know, They are the everyday people who reach out to me and tell me, Nigel, I feel like I'm stuck. And then I would reach back and I'll tell them that, usually your intuition. Your intuition is quite spot on. If you feel that you're stuck, you're likely stuck, right? And then I say, do something on the side, and then do this, do that. Then they will write back, and then or they'll tell me verbally saying that, there's usually a lot of excuses, a lot of reasons, but essentially, basically, all of us are scared. They're scared to make a move because a known enemy is usually way easier to handle mentally than an unknown variable. There's a very big difference. Let me type that out for you. If you type, let me show you. Okay, show you over here. And a known enemy is easier to handle emotionally, mentally, etc., compared to an unknown variable. There was a story about I heard, I can't remember who told the story, and I'm going to butcher this story, but the story was this. A prisoners would be led to a door, and these prisoners are those who are going to be hung or shot to death. These are death row prisoners, and they will always be presented with the option. You want to go through the door or you want to be hung. And the prisoners will always just say, most of them will just say, I want to be hung. And then there they go, be hung, and then their life ends. And then one of the helpers of the executioner asked the executioner, right, hey, what's there behind that door? That executioner would just say, that door is freedom. You see, people would rather choose a known enemy, a familiar, let's call it a known or familiar enemy. It's easy to handle because it's what they want, what they expect, or what they can take. So, but for you, my readers, right, I empathize. We all have fear. I have fear all the time, right? I've been there, multiple times. Sometimes in some of them, I'm still there. I've been stuck so many times, it's ridiculous. Sometimes it takes months for me to overcome these restrictions or these fears. Sometimes it just takes a bit longer for it to click, or I become more desperate, right? So let me tell you something about intuition. Your intuition is one of the most powerful senses and inner compass that you can have. I do not know how to put it into like something scientific yet, but it's a sense that It's got a mix of what your intelligence, your life experiences, your upbringing, your culture. But as you experience life more and more, your body will tell you, oh, that guy is gonna there's something weird with that person, and then you just back off. That's why in the past there's a lot of agreements that just go based on handshakes. $1 million deals go purely on handshake because the gut sensation or the intuition is spot on. And one thing is that the more I use and hone and trust my intuition, the more my intuition works for me. And recently, my intuition has been that, prompting me, that I've been playing too small, thinking too small, that I've been playing safe, you know. I'm paying attention. I'm putting this to writing. You know, one thing that my intuition is pretty spot on. I can't ignore it for that long because it will just get louder and louder. Like, it's like a stronger sense. Like, it's like, do this, do this. Okay, I'm not, I'm not crazy. Okay, it's just more like do that, go there, go there, go there, and then it just gets stronger and louder. It's like what I mentioned over here. It's like spider senses, spider tingling, which gets stronger and stronger, and eventually I can't ignore. And then when I do it, it's like, hey, that's pretty good, huh? Why did it take so long to do that? You know why? Because my intuition usually leads me to growth. Okay? When there's growth, there's either something gonna happen. Okay. There needs to be change, there needs to be effort, there needs to be there's sometimes there's failures, there's confrontations, there's changes, growth, insights. The term growing and learning is so nice on paper. But you must remember that real growth, real learning, there's a process. It's a learning process that can be painful, it can be annoying. But you know, thinking about that, looking at my 20-year-old self, I know my 20-year-old self wouldn't recognize me, and my 40-year-old self won't be able to recognize the 20-year-old self because I've grown so much from then till now. And I'm less of an idiot today, but I've grown so much. And here I'm speaking to you, right? It's really easy to settle, but it's really costly. Not just about how much you earn every month. The real issue about settling is your opportunity cost. Here, you just imagine, okay, if you earn, let's say 5,000 every month, every year, you earn 60 grand, and you just stay your same bullshit job, and you get 60 grand plus whatever bonus. It is certain death. If you're happy, fine. If you're at 85% that don't like your job, think about this. Nobody on their deathbed will just say, I wish I earned 2 million more, then I would die in peace. No, man, not at all. No woman, not at all. At our deathbed, we will regret all the opportunities we do not take, aka settling. When you settle, you will forego all the opportunities, all the intuition that nudging you on. We settle because we're scared. We settle because we don't know how to do it, right? Of course we don't know how to do it. So it's new, right? So look, this is what I came up with that I think is really important. We settle because it's way easier to stay status quo or do nothing as compared to thinking hard. Thinking is really hard, and doing and failing again and again and again and again to figure out and course correct until we get to where we want to be or what we want to do. So you see, when you're doing well, everybody will tell you, oh, you're doing well. Capitalism's like that, If you're doing X, get Y dollars. Do more, you want to get more Y dollars, do more X. Do it again and again and again and again. But the key thing is that you got to know yourself. If you are the lucky 15% who love what you're doing, love where you're at in life, and you are the right course, great. But if you are 85% who do not know where you're going, you do not like what you're doing, then you got to think about this a lot. Question yourself. Are you settling? Are you giving up? You see, knowing yourself is the beginning. I know that I don't need 1 billion. It's nice, but I don't need it. I don't even need 100 million. It's nice, but I don't need it. I don't even want to run a big company. I don't want to take a company public. I don't want to become a celebrity or politician. Sometimes I joke with my wife, I actually want to be a farmer. I want to plant fruit trees and vegetables. But what I really want truly is this. I want to be free. I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. This is it, really. I don't need 1 billion. I don't need 100 million. I don't need to own public listed companies, like be the top of it. So back to my intuition. I starting to sense that I'm on the cusp of something. that I cannot play small anymore, that I need to double down or something or triple down. That I didn't know we go deeper maybe on my strengths, on